Hey pals, how are you doing? I recently finished my year of no dating, which I talked about and did a whole video on, and I jumped straight into the apps, which I ended up finding out that it was really detrimental to my mental health and bad for my self-esteem. So I have decided to go on a different route, and I thought I would share it with you. When I came off the apps, I was like, how are you supposed to date in this day and age if you're not texting people on apps or like finding people through websites? But I think there's an opportunity here to relearn how we think about dating and meeting new people. I want to go into this thinking I want to meet new people, and if I make friends, great. If I make more than friends, also great. And if something turns into a long-term thing, then that's wonderful. I think we kind of set ourselves up for failure if we go into these things immediately thinking I'm looking for my future partner or husband, wife, spouse, because that puts a lot of pressure on everything. So the goal is just to think these are some nice events to go to have fun and just see what it's like, and if it turns out to be more than that, then great. So here are my tips on how to date without using the apps. Also, some people have asked where Olive is in these videos. She's in bedroom jail because she will attack the camera. Unfortunately for introverts like me, this does mean we will have to go outside and speak to people. So I'm very sorry about that. If that's not your thing, I don't know what to tell you. First tip is to become a regular at groups, or just go to groups. This might be things like knitting or craft groups. Near me there's a knit and natter, which is specifically for queer people, which is cool. You can also find a sports team near you. I have found that the queerest sports near me anyways are things like rugby, climbing, roller derby, roller skating, if that's different. I don't know much about it, but those kind of sports are like where a lot of the trans and queer people seem to be going, so go there. Also, there is a running club called Front Runners, which I go to, and I think they are international. If not, they are definitely nationwide in the UK, and it is for LGBTQ plus people and allies, maybe? Not sure. Double check about that. If you're not a runner, sometimes they do couch to 5k programs, which is what I'm doing now, or you can ask to set up a walking group. You can also go to theatre groups. Sometimes there are queer theatre groups, or just, I feel like the gays love theatre. There might be some film or photography groups near you. There is groups where people go on walks and take photos. Okay, the next thing is to attend events. A lot of towns will have a Pride committee where they spend a long time leading up to Pride planning out how to do things, and they're usually always looking for volunteers. If you're into nightlife, then there's a lot of parties around, especially around London and Brighton. In London there is T-Boys, which is a nightclub for trans masks and allies. Even though it is London based, a lot of people come from all around the UK and maybe elsewhere to come to that night. It's usually like once every couple of months, I think. There's also places like Dykes on Decks or Dyke Discotheque, I think is what it's called. I'm not sure if that's Brighton based or London. There's also places like Beef Mints, which is like a club night that is for bears in the gay community, but also people that like bears can go. There's also Gal Pals, which is for gals and their pals, but usually with those events they'll have like pre-drinks beforehand, so you can get to know people. If you're going there alone, you can meet people and stick together so that you feel safer. There is also Canny Queer Collective, which is up north. They do events like open mic nights or fundraisers for surgeries. I had an event with them when I was raising money for my surgery, and we did like a quiz night, which was really cute. If you are feeling brave and there is anywhere near you that is trans and queer inclusive, then maybe checking out saunas. You might not find your husband there, but you might be craving some intimacy and some fun and looking to explore what's around you, and they might have events on as well where you can talk to people and meet people, so check out them. If you're not familiar with gay saunas, it's basically like a club where there is a sauna. There's like hot tubs and dark rooms where you basically go in with a towel or no towel, and you go in to either chill or have fun with other people, and it's usually men, or occasionally there are trans nights or queer nights. I'm not sure if there's like straight slash all gender saunas. It seems to be a predominantly male space in my experience. I would say that if you are trans or not cis, I would check out their policies on trans people beforehand. The one near me says that you can go if you're trans mask, but only if you've had top surgery, which is a bit weird, so check those rules out beforehand. Also, there may be some old school speed dating or dating events near you. I've seen some that are just traditional speed dating, but then I've seen zine making workshops that are for dating as well, or just like get-togethers with the intention of getting to know people for dating. So check out what is in your area. You might have luck on Instagram or Outsavvy or Meetup, maybe Facebook as well. Just search whatever you're looking for in my area on Google and see what comes up. The next thing is volunteering. This might seem a little odd, but hear me out, okay? Not only is volunteering just great for you to do in general, there's a lot of places that need extra support, but it's something that might make you feel good about yourself and that gets you out of the house and gets you meeting new people. But I have also found that there's a lot of queer people in specific volunteer sectors. There's a reason that there's a stereotype about lesbians and cats. Okay, I once volunteered at a cat shelter very briefly, and my job was just to play with kittens to get them used to people so that they would be more available to be adopted. Also, environmental projects have a lot of queer people in them. Whatever you're interested in, see if there's a volunteer group for that. Because the likelihood is, if you are queer and interested in that, there's probably going to be another queer person who's interested in that as well. And then the obvious other volunteering opportunity would be for LGBTQ plus causes, because you're bound to find other queers there. Just Google what LGBTQ plus charities are in your area and see if they need any support with volunteers, or maybe there'll be a job going and you might get your next job. Maybe don't date within your job because that will be messy. Next thing is to take classes. So you might want to learn a new language, and yeah, you can do that on your phone and inside, but why not go out and meet people if you've got the means to? My friend near me runs a queer BSL learning group. There might be other groups near you that are just purely like, we're gonna meet up and hang out and practice this language. Also things like pottery classes, painting courses, things that go on for a long period of time make it easier for you to meet people and get to know people because you're seeing the same people every week or however many times a month you meet. Also things like cooking classes, especially vegan classes. I feel like there's probably going to be a lot more queers there, or open-minded people. Listen, I know I'm going off stereotypes, but like, as a queer vegan who loves cat and has been a lesbian, the last thing is to host events. This might be really daunting, especially if you're in a new area and you don't know anyone. This might not be the right thing, but if you are someone that has a few friends and want to meet more friends, then this might be a good idea. One thing I've seen people do is host events where you ask all of your friends to invite another person that none of you have met before. Yeah, you could do this with anything, like on hikes or beach days or movie nights or I don't know, get-togethers for events. You can also just like make up your own events. Recently there was a bring your own garlic bread to the park and be queer event in Brighton, and people just put up posters around and put it on Instagram and got their friends to share it, and loads of people went. That's happened in a few different areas, but like obviously you want to be safe and cautious if it's not super safe for you to be queer in your area. But if you just keep it on the down low and have your friends share it with their friends, or like share it within queer groups, then sure enough you will reach some people and then have people that you've never met before be at that event. Through going to one event like this, I have managed to find myself in a WhatsApp group where there's loads of different branches. So it's like queers going to the cinema, queers going swimming in the sea, queers who want to co-work together, queers who want to have Sunday dinners, and then people will put in their WhatsApp group when they're going to do it and when people want to join them. And it's just turned into this thing where everything you could want has a queer group attached to it. So yeah, there's overlaps of who goes there, so you might be meeting the same people, but still it's an idea for the area you're in. I guess just think outside of the box. Think about what you want to do and do things you want to do to meet people so you've got similar interests. Some general tips for this. Go into it with the aim of meeting friends, and if anything more comes out of it, great. If not, you've made friends, you haven't lost anything. Another thing is just speak to more people. This is scary, I know. I'm very nervous and shy and awkward in person too, but I'm making it a goal to speak to more people and just be more talkative, asking people the time or asking people for directions or complimenting outfits. The other day I walked past two people and one person said to the other, "Oh my god, I really love your dress," and then the other person was like, "Oh my god, thanks," and I was like, "Oh my god, that was so cute." A while ago I got on a bus and someone said they really liked my tattoo and I was like, "Thank you." You could have a list on your phone of things that are good conversation starters if you're going to any of these groups. I tend to ask people like, where have you moved from? How long have you been in Brighton? Whereabouts do you work? Whereabouts are you based? I just come up with some questions that would start a conversation and get used to asking people those. If you've got any more ideas or if you run groups in specific areas, let me know in the comments so that other people can find it too. If you want to hear more from me, I also have a monthly podcast on my Patreon. This month I've chatted about how to romanticize summer, and I've also talked a lot about my dating history, including some of the most awkward dates and situations I found myself in when meeting out with people. Yeah, so if you want the juicy gossip, it's over there. I hope you're having a great day and a great week and a great month and a great everything, and I will speak to you soon. Okay, bye!